Well, I guess we're just gonna have to come to terms that we are never going to get a Predator movie up to the level of the first. Not gonna happen. The Predator stars Boyd Holbrook, Olivia Munn, and is directed by Shane Black. What's up, guys? We have a brand new Predator movie. I've reviewed the first one a long time ago. I planned on doing a revisited, but I just didn't get around to it. I'll probably still do it, just because I'd love to go back and, I guess, revisit that movie and dig deep into it, because there's so much about the first Predator that makes it one of the greatest action sci-fi films ever. Really, action films ever. I love that movie. The sequels have not been the best. Predator 2 is okay. I have a soft spot for that movie. Predators, again, it's just okay, but I think it's a little bit too safe. But this new Predator movie, yeah. But first off, just wanted to show off my wife's latest acrylic painting. Look at that shit. She just gets better and better. And I felt the need, you know, this was her latest one, and I was like, I want to put this in a video, just because I love the richness of it. And I'm a big sucker for like red, because red to me is really moody, so I love it. Anyway, quick plot synopsis. This is a Shane Black movie. If you remember, Shane Black was in the first Predator, and at that time he was a writer, and he wrote a lot of properties like Lethal Weapon, The Last Boy Scout. He is a great writer, very talented. Now, I will say this version of the movie is much different than the original intended version of the movie. It was much longer, actually. So, if I have any cons with this movie, I can't fully blame Shane Black, because studio interference can muddy a lot of movie waters. But this one gets right down to the action. You got the Predator ship, comes to Earth, and then the Predator drops down. You know, immediately we assume that he's on a normal Predator mission. And caught in the crossfire is our main character, Quinn, played by Boyd Holbrook. And he gets brought in for questioning. Of course, they think he's a little loony. So then, eventually, he gets rounded up with this other band of misfits. And throughout the rest of the movie, they get caught in the middle of this, you know, Predator warfare thing going on. You know, you have different breeds of predators in this movie without going into too many spoilers. And also, this one does explore more of you know, the Predator lore, what their intentions are with our planet as well as other planets. This one digs a lot deeper into that stuff. And I will say, the first like 30 to 45 minutes of this movie, I was really on board. I was buying into the characters, because Shane Black is great at creating interesting characters. You know, once Quinn gets with this group of guys, they gel with each other quite well, actually. There is a scene on the bus that's really funny.
I had a run-in with a space alien.
This fucking guy is crazier than the rest of us.
The scene in the motel is hilarious, and it does harken back to a joke that was told in the very first Predator. Also, Olivia Munn is like the scientist that's brought on board, and without going into any spoilers, her interest is quite piqued once she gets to this laboratory. Let me just say, this laboratory scene is probably my favorite scene in the whole movie.
It's not a predator, that's a sports hunter.
Well, we took a vote. Predator's cooler, right? Fuck yeah.
Unfortunately, it's within the first 30 minutes of the movie. But it really gets the ball rolling, gets the action ramped up. And like I said, from this point on, I thought, oh, we're gonna have a really great Predator movie here. But then something happened. I think it got a little bit too ambitious with what it was trying to attempt with the Predator. And I'm all for being ambitious and trying to dig a little bit deeper into the lore, but where you go will determine whether it's good or not. And I did not like where they went with this movie, unfortunately. But before I dig deep into the cons, there were a couple other things I did like about this. I did talk about Olivia Munn as Casey. I actually enjoyed her character quite a bit, and I did hear some critiques on her stating that, you know, she was terribly miscast. I didn't see that at all, actually. I thought she was one of the more interesting parts of the movie all the way through, actually. Also, there was a character that was like, he struck up a really good friendship with Quinn, Nebraska, played by Trevante Rhodes. This was one of my favorite characters of the movie, actually. You know, he has this really rough background, you know, tortured background, And I guess that's one thing I did like about a few of these characters in this. You know, Shane Black does dig a little deeper into who they are as characters. You know, he scratches a little bit deeper than the surface. And then the main character, Boyd Holbrook, he runs this thing, and he does a great job, actually. You might remember him from Logan. I thought he was a very underrated character in that movie. And again, I think he's great in this, actually. Unfortunately, the story beneath him isn't up to his level as a character. And starting to dig a little bit deeper into the cons, one of my problems with this movie was the son, played by Jacob Tremblay. You know, when you have kids in, especially horror sci-fi films, it is pretty damn risky. And it's not all bad, but sometimes the kid kind of weighs the movie down, at least in my opinion. I'm really kind of in the middle with Jacob Tremblay in this movie. But then, if we're digging real deep into the cons, like I said, from like the middle on, you have, and I don't want to go into any spoilers, but I will say there are different breeds of predator in this movie, and some of them I did not like. Haven't talked about the main one, which we have seen in the trailer, that giant predator. He does play a big part in this movie, and I think he wasn't nearly as interesting as the original predator design. I'm trying to be very careful with what I'm saying here, guys, because like I said, I don't want to spoil anything. If you do like that Shane Black brand of humor, you're gonna get that in this movie. But if you like your Predator movie to be nice and serious like the first one is, you're not gonna get that in this one. It does have some nice action moments with the Predator, especially that lab scene. But my biggest problem with it is the tone is a little bit too light for me. And I guess if all the comedy landed, then I'd be happy. But there were quite a few comedic moments that weren't, you know, that great. So in the end, guys, this ends up being one of the worst Predator movies out of the whole bunch for me. I'm gonna give it a low humdrum because I do like the Predator movies, even though none of them can hold a candle to the first. And I will say, like I said, that first half, I thought this was gonna be like my second favorite, and then it quickly went to one of my least favorites. So anyway, guys, post in the comments your thoughts on the Predator if you've seen it. Also, real quick before I go, I recently did Rob Zombie's Halloween Revisited, and for some reason in Canada, all my Canadian viewers could not watch the review. It was blocked. So I made another, like an edit of that review, and so I'll put a card right here for my Canadian viewers so you can actually see that video. But the original video with all the bells and whistles is still there for anybody outside of Canada, so that's the one you want to watch. It really broke my heart to not be able to give that version to the Canadian viewers. But if you want to just hear me talk, and there are a few little bits of B-roll in there, then yeah, you can actually check out that version. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day. On Fridays, we do Free For All Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. Now, Stardust. If you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.